Welcome to tonight's episode of Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel, and as always, I have a very special guest for you, Kimberly Council, candidate for the Brooklyn Borough President. She'll be with us for the next 30 minutes, so stay with us. You're watching Beyond Focus TV.
Focus TV allows you to discuss contemporary topics affecting the Caribbean people on both a national and local level. The show features informed guests who offer insight, debate, and evaluate various issues. Beyond Focus TV builds on the station's mission to provide useful information to the Caribbean people in New York and abroad. Beyond Focus TV, where our viewing audience can get educated, informed, and empowered.
Welcome back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel. And as always, I have a very special guest for you, Kimberly Council. You're running for Brooklyn Borough President, and we're breaking some barriers with this one.
Yes.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me, Lydia. I appreciate it, and I'm glad to be here with you today.
Of course. You know, we really love people in the community who are doing great things. So, of course, we had to have you here tonight. Before we go into any of the political stuff, though, I want to kind of just give everyone at home a little bit of background. So, who is Kim Council?
Well, I am an associate minister at Borough Baptist Church, the church that I grew up in. Have been a minister since 2003. Was ordained in 2006. I also am a librarian, law librarian. I have been a law librarian for about 23 years.
Okay.
Have served as the executive director of the Berean Community and Family Life Center in Brooklyn, working with young people. We had a youth development program, award-winning drumline, women's health initiatives. We did a lot of conferences. We had a senior programming. We did a Savvy Senior Healthy Savvy Senior Expo last year, working with seniors and exposing them to helping them to connect with technology. We do My Sister, My Friend. We've been doing that for about 25 years, and last year we added My Daughter, My Future to incorporate young people in our programming. And I'm a mom, and community activist. Have been kind of around for a long time. Born and bred in Brooklyn, born in Bed-Stuy, and went to school in Fort Greene. I have been worshiping in Crown Heights all of my life.
That is amazing to just hear that whole journey of what kind of led to this. So with all those different backgrounds, you know, why and what led you to really want to take that plunge to run for Brooklyn Borough President, and why specifically BP?
Why BP? You know, I'm definitely a person of faith. I ran for office in 2013 and had a whole lot of support. And, you know, of course, we came in second place. And so I just kind of went back to working and doing the stuff that I had been doing in the community, and just felt this urge. I had a conversation with God in 2020, and I said, you know, if you open a door, I will walk through it. And to be totally honest with you, I did not initially think that it was going to be politics, because I've been preaching and in ministry and doing a whole bunch of different things. But, you know, the opportunity to take the work that I've been doing in the community, served as president of East Brooklyn Housing Development Corporation, built thousands of units of affordable housing in East Brooklyn. My church, we sold our parking lot, and we developed 107 units of affordable housing in Crown Heights and 77 units of senior housing in Brownsville. Have been working with MWBEs, and just seeing how there is a continuation of inequities all over Brooklyn. I believe it's time, and women lead differently. Women lead when they think about their communities. We think about, you know, how the policies that we're putting in place will impact everybody, as opposed to, you know, being controlled by special interests. And so I am someone who has been constantly continually doing work in the community, and I felt this was an opportunity to spread the work that I have been doing all throughout Brooklyn.
No, absolutely. And just to even hear that, that's a pretty good body of work. And it's crazy to think that we have not had a woman borough president, period. Like, this has not ever happened.
Yeah, no, not in Brooklyn. C. Virginia Fields was the first, I think, African-American woman to serve as borough president in Manhattan. But this will be the first woman to serve when I win in June as Brooklyn Borough President. So I think we're at a place, I think we're at a moment in history where we're all about breaking glass ceilings. I don't know about you, but I had a hard time working on January 20th when Kamala Harris was sworn in. And, you know, we also have already made history in Brooklyn with Rodney Spurchott, who is the Kings County, the chair of the Kings County Committee. So it's time, I think, that we bring that type of leadership and break some more barriers and put a woman in the borough presidency.
And then kind of seeing Kamala Harris get sworn in, breaking those barriers on multiple levels for sure. Did that really just kind of give you a little bit of hope and kind of seal the deal that this could, if not saying that if she could be vice president, that of course borough president should be a walk in the park, because it's not, because people really forget that, we get all caught up in the hype of who our big elected officials are, but they kind of forget to realize that it's the council members and the BPs and all that who really affect our day to day.
But I think that she definitely is somebody who is inspirational. But I think we also have to look back in order to go forward, because we also had Shirley Chisholm, who was this groundbreaking, woman. She was the first one to serve in Congress. So we have this history of getting so far, and so you just kind of look to those different types of women, the way that they led and what they brought to the table. It definitely does weigh in on the decision, but. I think the work that I was doing just felt like a natural transition to move into to borough president.
And that kind of was literally leading into my next question. You feel that you are ready now with the body of work that you have to just kind of, borough president would be a natural extension.
Most definitely. I mean, they constantly refer to Borough Hall as being a bully pulpit. And who better to sit in that pulpit than Reverend Kim? So, I'm definitely very, very comfortable in the pulpit, very comfortable advocating for my community. And again, have been doing all of this stuff behind the scenes part-time. So I've been working full-time, raising my children, and part-time working on these civic and social things. Imagine what I could do if I was full-time dedicated to the work that I'm passionate about. So here's an opportunity for you to have my undivided attention, Brooklyn, and bring you what we need.
What are some of the key things that you, Kim Council, will be bringing to the table?
So one of the first things I plan on doing is mapping out the geographic inequities that are within our borough. So you have one section of Brooklyn that seems to get a whole lot of attention and a whole lot of resources. And then you have another section of Brooklyn where people are working incredibly hard but never seeming to be able to make ends meet, and they're struggling and they're doing different things. So we have enough resources. We have enough resources in order to equitably distribute everything so that everybody has a fair shot. So my plan is to level the playing field. We're going to look at what's happening in healthcare. We're going to look at what's happening in housing. We're going to look at what's happening within our educational system. And we're going to use the resources of the borough president's office in order to make sure that we are allocating resources in an equitable way. So that's I mean, we can look at, and in particular, what's been happening with the educational system during COVID, where we have this huge digital divide, and we have children who are not able to access, Wi-Fi, and are given like packets, and educators who were just kind of thrust into this whole, digital learning process, where we have the healthcare inequities in particular. I lost my dad in April.
Very COVID. Sorry to hear that.
To COVID, but the thing that as I was trying to decide what to do with I didn't want to take him to a hospital in Brooklyn because our hospitals have been consistently underfunded. And so I was concerned that he wasn't going to receive the quality health care that he deserved in Brooklyn. And that should not be the case. Your zip code should not dictate the quality of your health care. And unfortunately,
it does.
It does.
Everyone knows if my zip code, I'm either going to be going to Brookdale or I'm going to go to Kings County. It's like, which evil do you want? But you don't really get a choice if it's a critical situation, of course. Exactly. But everyone knows that there's a reputation. As much as these hospitals are trying to do their best and there's great things coming in, and Brookdale has done a great job changing. I mean, I know firsthand the work that they've been doing, and it's changed significantly. Right. So it's not the reputation from back in the day, but it's to change the stigma.
But also, it's the resources. I mean, all of us are taxpayers, and are we, the government, I'm saying, are they giving the hospitals what they need in order to provide the types of services that they need? And so what happens where you have the larger hospitals like New York Presbyterian is that you have wealthy people who are able to bequeath, resources to the hospital. And so where we see that there is a gap, we need to bridge that gap. And government can do that. The borough president's office last year, I think he had like $100 million in discretionary money. So we can use that money we can use that money
Really?
in an equitable way. So people are like, oh my God, no, there's a lot that can be done. And it's not just ceremonial. There's a lot that we can do in that office. It is what you make it, and it is all about having the right leadership in place.
That is so interesting. I'm learning something today, because not that it's all ceremonial, but of course, I didn't think on that level that the BP would be able to, distribute some money.
Yeah, the current borough president, he gave a couple of $1 million to education to create a STEM program. He's given capital funding to nonprofit organizations. We can, as I said, map out where the geographic inequities are, and then dispatch resources in that way. So it's like people in the community, we know, that there are issues with Woodhall, and there are issues with Brookdale, and there are issues with but if you go to Presbyterian, or if you go to Long Island,
Faith and LIJ, and
right?
all that.
So there's a totally different quality of care that you're going to get there. But we can do something with the resources that we have at our disposal to work with within those communities to level the playing field.
I mean, that's great, and it makes a lot of sense, and I'm actually surprised to hear that, and to know that that's something that you would do. Would be great for sure. Kind of what sets you apart from the other candidates who are running?
Well, I think the main thing that sets me apart is I'm not a politician. I'm not. I'm a community activist. I'm a minister. I'm a mom. And I have a proven track record. So I'm not, I don't have a legislative track record. I'm not going to talk about committee assignments and things of that nature, but I can, with definitively say that, through my nonprofit work, I've brought people together. I've served in diverse places, and I've brought resources to Brooklyn specifically.
No, I mean, when you think about who's running and what everyone's bringing to the table, you're not a politician. No. So you have invested interest, but your interest is still invested from the point of view you've been on the outside. Yeah. You've been a constituent. You are a constituent. Yeah.
I know what it's like to struggle. I know what it's like to be able to pay your bills. But I'm the exception. I'm not the rule, and we have to change that. I grew up in HUD subsidized housing in Bed-Stuy on Gates Avenue. We've been evicted. I've had to stand on those lines and get that block of welfare cheese that everybody who's watching knows what I'm talking about. And I've also, been able to go to college and get a degree and, work at, a prestigious firm. But I never lost sight of who I am, where I came from, and how important it is to make sure, that we continue to have a sense of community, and that we put a demand on those people who are in leadership to level the playing field.
Well, hold that thought. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel. So, Kim, why don't you tell us about how the borough president role has changed? It's not just ceremonial. It's not just a title anymore. I think Brooklyn itself has changed, and people really want a BP that's going to be involved.
I think that they've taken away a lot of the power that the borough president has, or they say, but they haven't taken away the ability to distribute resources and to give out discretionary money. But the borough president is also an advocate for the people of Brooklyn. The borough president is someone who will be a champion for Brooklyn, and make sure that the city council and the mayor's office and even the governor are putting Brooklyn's needs first. One thing that I think that I would love to, that I would love to see, we have a borough board, and the borough president is the chair of that of the borough board. That we have the opportunity with that borough board to bring all of the members of the city council and all of the heads of the community boards together. So my plan is to bring everybody together to create a truly unified agenda for Brooklyn, so that we can begin to, work within our local communities and then within the larger city to make sure that we're getting all of the resources that we deserve. Unfortunately, and you can cut me off when you need to, But unfortunately, so much has changed, but so much has not changed. You know, I mean, like the some of the struggles that I had when I was growing up as a child, people are still dealing with those kinds of things, right? So it's time, you know, that we begin to do something different. And if you want different to happen, you know, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again. So if you want the same, then elect the same old people. But if you really want to see something different, then you need to elect someone who has a different track record.
How do you think COVID-19 really kind of tipped a lot of this over?
Wow. I think what COVID did was it exposed the glaring inequities that exist within our communities. But because we were home, we were more in tune to what was happening. So like when George Floyd, when that happened with Chauvin, we have long been complaining about police brutality. But now everybody is home and they're glued to their television sets because they're working remotely, and the entire world now sees what's happening. And so the difference is that I think everybody is paying attention to what's happening, and everybody is now like, wait a minute, these people are not crazy. There's a lot of things that are happening within our communities that need to change. And so I think that's one of the things that's you know, as horrible as COVID was, I think it's allowed us the opportunity to kind of pause and see each other, really see each other. You see a lot of mutual aid societies popping up all over Brooklyn, and communities coming together to feed people. They have the community refrigerator and all of those different types of things. So you see us coming together, and one of the things that, you know, that we can do is centralize that. You know, so that these organizations are not working amongst themselves, scrambling, trying to find food and working within their networks. But we can use Borough Hall as a central hub to organize the mutual aid societies and be the arm that brings those resources to those organizations and funds and foods and those types of things, so that we can distribute it everywhere, every corner of Brooklyn.
And it will get equal distribution and more people could benefit for sure. Well, hold that thought. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel. So, Kim, what are you most excited about when you join and become Brooklyn Borough President? What are you most excited about when you first take that seat?
Well, the one thing that's exciting to me is young girls seeing that this is what I can aspire to. The other thing that is really exciting to me is the opportunity. Brooklyn is such a wonderful mosaic. You can go all around the world and never leave Brooklyn. I'm excited about the opportunity to celebrate our differences, to celebrate everyone's culture, and to continue to allow Borough Hall to be the people's hall.
Absolutely. And that's so nice of a way to place that, you know, to be the people's hall, because it really is that place when you think the steps of Borough Hall, like everything happens on the steps of Borough Hall.
I used to play on those steps as a child. So like when I think about my life in the foreshadowing, I used to go to dance class at 44 Court Street. And when I was going to the bus, I would always try to climb. I love those stairs behind the building. And so, let's bring everybody together and let's celebrate our differences and let's celebrate our diversity.
Now, what Borough President takes all of Brooklyn. You're getting all those different communities. How do you plan to really speak to those other communities who may not be Black or brown? You know, we've got Russian, we've got the Italian section. You know, you're going to be everybody's Borough President. So how do you kind of plan to maybe speak to those different communities?
Again, it's bringing everybody to the table. It's going to those places. It's both and. So it's allowing everybody to feel like this is your hall, this is your city. Let's come together and let's work together. But it's also going out, meeting those people, talking to them. Like on the weekends, either I'm giving out food in Crown Heights or I'm with Brooklyn Emerge, which is a small Pakistani community. And these people take their own money and they purchase food and they give out like 1,000 meals every single week to their community. So it's about celebrating. And my coworkers are of every hue. I mean, like I work in Lower Manhattan and a lot of them live in Brooklyn. And so I have coworkers who are, my office mate is from Pakistan and another one of the librarians is Russian. And, then we have people who are Irish and we have, so it's about.
It's a mishmash.
Oh, it's a mishmash. As is Brooklyn. Brooklyn. So I'm looking
what it
forward
is.
to the opportunity to talk to everybody, to bring everybody together, and to and even to deal with the issues that are specific to certain communities that are different. So I'm excited about the possibilities of talking to all of those people and learning some of those 400 languages that are spoken all throughout Brooklyn.
Yes, which is crazy. When I heard that number, I'm like, yeah, it really does make sense. That's about that. For sure. How can everybody at home get in contact with you? What's your website, social media, email, all that good stuff?
So my website is Kim Council for Brooklyn. It's the number 4, Kim Council for Brooklyn. And all my social media handles are at Kim C for BP. So you can Kim C, and it's the number 4, Kim C for BP. Facebook, social, Twitter, Instagram. You see how old I am. I'm like, the website is kimcouncilforbrooklyn.com. So that's how you can find out where I am.
No, that's great that you're socially active, letting everybody, get involved in the conversation and really get to know who you are. I think that's going to set you apart from everybody else, that you're not just going to be a face, this kind of person that's removed from everybody, but you're actually going to be for everybody.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I mean, we're going to social distance and we're going to make sure that we're keeping everybody
First and
safe.
foremost.
And we're going to have on our face masks, but we definitely are going to be embracing our diversity. I think it's a beautiful thing. Our differences should be celebrated, and that's what I plan on doing.
For sure. What final words do you have for the Beyond Focus family at home?
Thank you guys so much for joining us on this journey. We have a very tough road ahead. 2020 has been hellacious, but 2021 brings a lot of hope. So there's an opportunity for us to reset, refocus, reimagine, and reengage. So let's do that in 2021 with a new style of leadership. There's all kinds of city council seats that are open. So do the work, find out who's running, and find out who represents your views, and vote for Kim Council in 2021.
I love it, and that's such a great positive. You have a great smile. I really see the energy and the passion that's coming through. People want that. They want to see somebody real. You're from the community, you know the community. And I think we can't ask for anybody better, really. And I think it's about time we do have a woman in office. I think that's going to make a huge difference. Just in terms of spending, the hospitals, a lot of different things you spoke about I think would be great. So, of course, you do regular updates on your social and all that, so we'd love to hear more, of what's coming up. The big day is going to be June
22nd. It's my dad's birthday.
I think that's meant to be.
I believe it is, too.
That's great. So, June 22nd. And I know it's something a little bit different this year with the voting. It's a ranking system.
So there's RainChoice Voting. So you can rank your choices. So you can vote for Kim for number 1, and then if you have somebody else who is not necessarily your favorite, you can vote for them as like number 2. But you can rank up to 5 votes, five candidates, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so we also have to make sure that we're educating people.
That was literally my next point, because it's going to be so confusing. It's the first time for everybody, and there's a lot of people who hope that we mess up, because that's how it would work in their favor. If the ballot's not valid, it's not valid.
Right. No, we have to, as we're having a conversation about who we are, what we stand for, we need to also pivot and have that conversation about ranked choice voting, because it's something new and it's a huge city, and we don't want to disenfranchise anyone. So we're going to make sure that the Board of Elections is doing what they're supposed to be doing, but also as candidates, we have a responsibility to educate voters as well, and that's what we'll be doing.
I agree, and I think that would be so good, and maybe I would even do something on your website or a social, like let as much people know as possible, because I was confused at first about it. And, the ranking might be, you have to let them know that number 1 is your number 1, not 5 through 1, or your number 1 is your first choice versus.
Right. And so, again, I'm hoping that they'll send out some ballots and they'll put some videos together. But you can go to nycvotes.org.
Okay.
And there should be information there. And then we'll definitely have some information on our websites and on the material that we send out to voters to explain to them about the process.
No, that's fantastic. And I think, again, so informative if people have any questions or comments. And what about donations?
Website, kimcouncilforbrooklyn.com/contribute. As a matter of fact, the first thing that you're going to see when you go to my page is the contribute button.
Donate button.
And then you see my face. But definitely, we definitely need support, because we cannot do this without your support. I need your vote, but I definitely need your support. So kimcouncilforbrooklyn.com/contribute.
Great, and that's amazing. Yes, they're doing matching funds,
Yes.
but you still have to get to a certain amount.
And for Brooklyn Borough President, of course, we're talking about $50,094, and we're in the middle of a pandemic. We're in the middle of a global pandemic where women, Black and Latino in particular, according to the last jobs report, have lost 100% and have not made any gains with their jobs. And so we definitely want to make sure, that we're sensitive to that, but we also know that we can't run this campaign without people power. So we thank you.
So 50 grand is the entry point.
$50,094.
$94. Well,
Yeah.
you have my support for sure, and do whatever we can. And thank you for coming tonight and
Thank
really
you so
just kind of unpacking everything and giving us an inside view of that.
Thank you for having me. It's truly been a pleasure. I appreciate your patience.
No worries. It's great to have you. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, you can send us an email at info@beyondfocusmedia.com. I'm your host, Lydia Patel. Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll be back again next week. Same time, same place. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Stay with us.
Beyond Focus TV show wants and needs your feedback. Did we blunder? Please let us know so we can improve. Was the show helpful to you? Drop us a note so we can share the success with our staff members. Is there something you think we could do better? We welcome new ideas and new approaches to old ideas. Do you have a great suggestion? Let us know and we'll work on it. If you would like to share your comments anonymously, please send us an email at info@beyondfocusmedia.com. If you want to get in touch with the executive producer directly, send him an email at gene@beyondfocusmedia.com. We really look forward to hearing from you.